thanks for tuning in, and this is, I guess, time to do the spring retrofit with Miss Morgan. I guess actually it's early summer retrofit. Been busy with so many other things, I really haven't had time to spend any time on her, and this is the first time I've actually gotten her out, cleaned her up, and put her in the shop. You guys may have been following some of the other videos that I've posted, but quite frankly, I've just had so many projects going on, I haven't had time to devote much time to her. So anyhow, this is her weekend. We're going to see if we can't get a few things done. And kind of here is my laundry list, so to speak. We've got a new trim sending unit. Supposedly this is the right one. This is a port sending unit. I guess the one I bought before, which is over here, was a starboard. So if anyone needs a starboard sending unit, let me know. I'm going to pull that one off and put the port one on. These here are some fiberglass angles I bought. Those of you that have followed my thread, you'll note that last year I made some brackets out of fiberglass to mount the tank to, which are right here. I thought about doing that with the seats. Originally I'd use some aluminum angles and epoxied them to the floor for the seat brackets, and they worked pretty good, but I guess it was early last year, this one here actually came off the floor, and I had to screw it back down, and I'm not real happy about that, because basically those screw holes are direct penetration into the foam below, and as everyone on iBoats knows, that leads to rot below the deck. So what I want to do, what I got to thinking about was the fact that the aluminum expands at quite a bit greater rate than the fiberglass. So I think what's actually happening here, and I may be wrong, but I think the aluminum's expanding enough that it actually shears off the contact plane with the epoxy. So anyhow, we're going to take those out and replace them with the fiberglass ones and epoxy those down, and fiberglass and the fiberglass expand at the same rate, so we shouldn't have that issue anymore. So hopefully that'll solve that problem, and I think I'm actually going to use that in a few other places too. So here's the epoxy for that. This Wet Systems stuff is great. The 610, I love this. If you buy the 610 though, make sure you get these extra mixing nozzles unless you're using like one big batch. I think it comes with two, and it seems like I go through those pretty quick, so well worth the money to buy some extra ones. One of the things some of you guys may have seen last year is I put this up, which is an LED tape, and I put it underneath the gunnels, and it worked great as an accent light, but what I found out was I put it up with the little double-sided tape clip things, and as soon as it got hot, I guess the adhesive let go, and they all fell down in the floor, so that kind of sucked. So anyhow, we're going to redo that, hopefully put it up with some clips that are screwed on to the gunnel. And this is a battery switch I've had since I built the boat. Hopefully we can put that in and put in a battery box or battery tray. I've got this one here, and I think it's one I'm actually going to go with. I'm not real hip on this plastic stuff, but it's got this plastic hold down, screw down deal. Seems to work pretty good. I've got this one over here, and it has some kind of strap that goes with it, but I don't know, it's really thin and flimsy, so for right now, I think I'm going to run with this one. I've got the swim step that goes on the swim platform, and thanks Matt for sending me that. Try to get that on. Somewhere I've got the hardware for this or for this piece to attach to the actual step itself. And then last but not least, we've got the lighter deal here, and I've still been trying to figure out where to put that. Some good place to be able to plug in the cell phone. I was thinking about that this morning. I may actually put that under the seat. That way you can put your phone down there, close it up. It's not really exposed to water other than big splashes, and charge your phone. At first I thought about putting it up here in the dash underneath, somewhere where you could kind of plug it in, but if you do that, your phone cord's just going to be hanging down, it's going to be in the way, and so I got to thinking maybe putting it under the seat makes some sense. I did get a mouse in there last year. He didn't tear anything up, but I put out a sticky trap, and you can see all the crap that they drug in out of the field. It's just, God, I love those things. I'm just happy he didn't tear anything up. So I got a little bit of cleanup to do there, and a few leaves in here. So anyhow, we made it through the winter pretty good. Oh, and we've got to change the lower unit oil. That's another little task we've got to do. And one of the last things is, you can see right here where this cracked. The screw for this is on the other side of it. And I think what actually happened is after I glued everything up, put it together last year, it actually shrank down some more. And so we've got to re-glue that. Quite frankly, it shouldn't have broken at these joints. But this stuff is tough to glue. Teak's got so much oil in it, and I cleaned them off, and I didn't put a lot of glue in the joints because I didn't want a lot of squeeze out, and I probably should have put some more in there. On the other side, you can see there's another joint right here, did the same thing. So what we're going to do is go ahead and pull that apart and re-glue that, re-oil everything. I don't think there's any over here on the other side. For whatever reason, this one seemed to fare better, but irregardless, we can pull both of them off, re-oil them, clean them up, and put them back on. So that's our weekend mission. We'll see what we get done. Oh, one last thing, almost forgot. I still want to build a cover for this, and that went back to the battery box conversation earlier, and get all this mess cleaned up back here. I mean, there's just a wad of wire, and the reason it's that way is I've been so indecisive about what I'm doing back here, so I want to try to get that cleaned up and fixed up. So that's probably the bottom on the priority list, but really would like to get that done. So we'll see how far we get. Here it is. Got it glued up. I guess we'll find out tomorrow if it works or not. I'm sure it will. We'll see how long it works. I thought it might be kind of hard to get the aluminum angles off, but I remembered seeing a deal on West Systems' website about how to debond bonded hardware, which was screwed basically into epoxy. You can see there's the couple holes here. Went ahead and drilled those at the lake, and the reason why was the seat was bouncing up and down. It was going to just scratch the hell out of the side of the boat on the way back to Oklahoma City, 100 miles. So I went ahead and screwed it down. As you can see, we went ahead and put some 5200 on it, but I still hate having holes in the deck, so I'm happy that I've getting the solution here. So anyhow, I put a little bit of heat on it. Use some MAP gas, and really it didn't take much, just a couple of seconds, and this thing popped right off. You can kind of see on there where some of it's bonded, some of it's not, but I don't know. I don't think I'd ever do angle, aluminum angle, or aluminum period, and epoxy again for a structural bond. So I think hopefully the new fiberglass will bond a whole lot better. We'll take it, cut it to length, rough it up, and then bond it down and screw it in. And I think that'll make a whole lot better connection. And I think we'll also be using that in the back, hopefully to make some hold downs for the battery. I was actually sitting there thinking I probably ought to go ahead and order a couple more pieces of this stuff. I just bought two 30-inch pieces, but man, I think this is going to work pretty good. Bond it down and call it good, and everything expands and contracts at the same rate. So don't think we can beat that. We'll go ahead and get a little bit more work done and see what happens. Okay, I'm so happy my tilt trim gauge finally reads correctly after 2 years. That sounds silly, but I got so sick of looking back to see where the motor was, what position it was. It would be so nice just to look down and look at the gauge this year. This deal here is the thing I was talking about earlier that I don't have the parts for yet, but hopefully the parts will be here on Tuesday for that, and we can get that taken care of too. So slowly whittling away here on the list and making progress.